Birthday party's first thing. Two VIP sloths and a birthday party. It's supposed to quit raining in another 15 minutes or something.
Strange day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Started downpouring more, I felt like.
Yeah, and it's supposed to stop in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But now's when we don't want it to rain.
Yeah.
I need my coffee, 1 second.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, this is my first day actually. I'm training to be a sloth keeper.
So you would ask questions if you're watching to learn. I'm jumping.
Yep.
Hey, just be aware when it's raining hard like this, the gate stays open, so people might just drive down. Good morning, I'm John, and this is Michaela. Michaela is our sloth keeper in training. This is her first sloth experience. I'm sure you've watched online, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Got the cough drops. I don't cough the whole time. I'm not sick. I'm not contagious. I had chemotherapy 20 years ago and it messed my lungs up. So when I get allergies, it hits me in the chest instead of the nose. But I'm not going to get you sick, hacking, and coughing. Just annoy the heck out of you. All right. So this is Flash. Flash is a sloth. Flash is a two-toed sloth. They're starting to call them two-fingered, three-fingered. It makes more sense because they all have 3 fingers on the back feet. Two-toed have 2 on the front. Three-toed have 3 on the front. One caution, this is food, this is not food. He can't see the difference between these two. So this one you stick in his mouth, this one you don't. Don't stick your finger inside of his mouth, don't put it in my mouth. Either one of us might bite you if you stick your finger inside of our mouth. When you go to feed him and he's going to sleep waiting on us here, hey Bubba. Good morning, Flash. Hey, baby boy. You ready for your breakfast? Good morning for Flash too. You guys hearing that lightning? I guess you cannot very well not be hearing the lightning unless you're stone deaf. Hey baby boy. Are you ready for your breakfast? Or you may need a minute to wake up. So you're welcome to pet him, you're welcome to take all the pictures, all the videos you want. He'll wake up here in a minute.
Alright.
So Flash is obviously a sloth. Alive in the world today, there are 2-fingered sloths and 3-fingered sloths. There are some pretty basic differences between the two. Makes more sense looking at it from a picture of a skeleton. And this is just a Google of sloth skeleton. Get to the right tab. This is a skeleton of a 2-fingered sloth. You can see he's got only 5 vertebrae in the cervical spine, no tail, and a whole bunch of vertebrae between shoulders and hips. A 3-fingered sloth is an entirely different animal. A 3-fingered sloth has 9 vertebrae in their cervical spine. It does have a tail, and so it has fewer vertebrae between hips and shoulders and fewer ribs. So if you look at this guy, he's built more like a sports car. If you look at this guy, he's built more like a truck. So this guy's got 46 ribs, 23 sets of ribs. That helps him a whole lot in falls. They do sometimes fall all the way from the canopy of the rainforest right to the ground, and they almost always survive the drop. And hey buddy, the lightning just scare you too much? Huh? Give him a little piece of fruit, it'll wake him up. Huh? We have a breaker out. It's a flashy one. Have a hard, oh, I bet the breaker's popped itself. Hey, buddy boy. How do you like us? Okay, I can wake up for a banana. So with the far more vertebra on the two-fingered sloth, I'll show you the way he can move here. The two-fingered sloth rotates between hips and shoulders, so he can turn until his hips are basically 180 out from his shoulders, if he's in the mood for it. Come here, buddy. Like that. And so this is all of his breakfast. You can feed him all of this. Now that he's down, he probably will just keep on eating it. And you can stand. Hey, dude. Flash. Here, Bob. Come here. You can stand approximately this close to him to take pictures. If you want somebody else to take a picture, I'm sure she'll take a picture for you. And you can just give him all of that breakfast.
Sure.
Say what?
I said thank you.
So this guy, sloths are slow. Sloths are famously slow. But sloths are slow in ways that may not have even occurred to you that a sloth could be slow. So sloths are slow not only in their movement, they're slow in their digestion, their metabolism, their metabolic processes. They're slow in every way that a sloth can be slow. It starts from their diet. The sloth in the rainforest is eating about 90% leaf material. Leaves are super low in nutritional value, very low in caloric content. So the sloth is working on an extremely limited energy budget. So limited, in fact, that even though he is technically a warm-blooded animal, being a mammal, he doesn't maintain his body temperature. Just doesn't have the energy to put into maintaining his temperature. So his core body temperature will follow whatever the outside air temperature is.
Should I just hold it up in front of his face?
Yep. So daytime high in the rainforest is in the mid or upper 80s. Nighttime low in the rainforest is in the high 60s. I'm going to start him out with the bananas. And his core body temperature will follow that range of temperatures every day. So his nighttime low core body temperature can be 19 degrees colder than his daytime high core body temperature. Now, if I had my core body temperature go down by 19 degrees, the coroner would take interest in that information, but really no one else. But the sloth does that every day. Also, because the sloth's energy budget is so low, they can only make milk for their babies for about 3 to 6 weeks, and that's all. There is a study on San Diego Zoo's knowledge-based website that says that it's actually gender dependent and that it is 15 days that a male baby sloth eats milk from its mother and 27 days for a female. But any way you slice it, really short time. The sloth does not store milk for its babies. So most mammals produce, store, deliver milk for their babies. Sloths just produce and deliver. There is no storage at all. So they make the milk drop by drop as the baby eats it. The sloth in the rainforest stays with its baby, in the case of a two-fingered sloth, somewhere in the 3 to 6 months range. And in the case of a three-fingered sloth, as much as a year or possibly even 2 years. But aside from a mother sloth raising a baby, they are entirely solitary animals. When the mother weans her baby, she just ditches, leaves it. So they used to think that sloths lived in one tree or a very small set of trees. Turns out that's not true. The only time a sloth stays in one tree or a very small set of trees is when it is nursing its baby. Well, sorry, when it's with its baby, not just when it's nursing, but as long as it stays with its baby. It tends to stay in one tree or a very small set of trees based on how much food there is available. When the mother sloth leaves, she just ditches, never comes back. And the baby sloth will stay where it's been raised its whole life, and then over its lifespan, its world will expand. The sloths, they're slow not just in their movement, they're slow in their digestion, metabolism, metabolic processes. They are slow in every single way that a sloth can be slow. So slow in their movement. Hey, does flashy red mean that the breaker is off?
Yeah. Can you hit the reset thing?
It doesn't reset.
Okay, I'll check the other breaker then.
Orange, usually when it's orange, you just push the button. Right now it's flashing red.
Alright, I'll go check the breakers again.
So the sloth, they say, if you read online, it says that a sloth can only move about 12 feet per minute. We see them move a whole lot faster than that here, but it's possible that they're talking speed over distance, not just, sprint speed. So when we open his door in the morning, his room goes up 20-some feet, and he'll be down to the bottom through the door and out here on the bar in 30 seconds. So that would be something more in the 35 or 40 feet per minute range. But in the rainforest, they say 12 feet per minute is all they can do. They don't ever walk on their legs like a dog or a cat or something like that would. They always hang, or if they're on the ground, all they do is drag themselves along. They don't ever stand up. The sloth, he's slow in his digestion, but he eats a tremendous amount of food. A sloth is eating about 10% of its body mass every single day. In the wild, he's eating about 90% leaves. Here he eats about 75% leaves. So the sloth, 10% of his body weight every day, and yet he goes to the bathroom only 3 or 4 times a month. When he goes to the bathroom, it's going to be solid and liquid both at the same time, separately but at the same time. He doesn't even tinkle between trips down the tree. When he does eventually eliminate, it is going to be 1/3 of his total body mass all at once, between solid and liquid. So putting that to human perspective, I weigh about 180 pounds. So that is me eating 18 pounds of food every single day. So that's rolling into Outback and saying, bring me 18 of the 16-ounce porterhouse steaks. Or rolling through the Golden Arches and saying, bring me about 70 or 80 of those quarter pounders, because that's what I'm going to eat. Not just today, but every day. Of course, that would be high quality food. He's eating low quality food, but in any case, that amount of food. So for me, if I'm eating like a sloth, I'm starting from my natural body mass of 180, and then I'll eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and then I'll eat, and then I'll eat some more, and then I'll eat. Till I get to about 240, and then boom, right back to 180 in 2 or 3 minutes. So that's leaving, a 5-gallon bucket and a bag of dog food in 2 or 3 minutes if it's me. But for the sloth, it is eliminating 1/3 of his total body mass in 2 or 3 minutes. When the sloth is up in the top of the tree, he is almost entirely safe from predators. A snake can't find a sloth. Snakes hunt by smell and by temperature gradient. A sloth has no natural smell. He has no scent gland, musk gland, sweat gland, none of it. So there is no smell to a sloth. And then beyond not having a natural smell, he's all covered up in moss and algae, so he just smells like the rest of the rainforest. And then his core body temperature being whatever the outside air temperature is, there's no temperature gradient. So a snake genuinely cannot find a sloth. If a snake came upon a sloth, it would be pure coincidence. The cats can't get to the sloths. They hunt visually, but the sloth comes along the bottom of the branch like this, and his eyes, we said he's got horrible vision. His vision is good for him. for his purpose. It's horrible vision, but it's good for his purpose. So what's important for a sloth is to see motion. Anything that's coming toward a sloth is bad news for a sloth. So if he sees motion, it's get to the end of the branch, get to the end of the branch. End of the branch is where he's safe. So when he gets all the way out to the smallest branch that will hold him, and the branch is like down under the weight of the sloth, and the cat is trying to walk along the top of the branch to get to the sloth, I mean, obviously that's not going to work, right? But if the sloth was hungry enough to press the issue to where the branch broke and fell all the way to the rainforest floor, the sloth is almost certain to survive the 100-foot drop, and the cat is almost certain to not. And the sloth will look over the cat and he'll say, ha, ha, and back up the tree he goes. And the cat will not go back up the tree. The one animal that can get to a sloth in the top of a tree is an eagle. Eagle has excellent vision, so he can see past camouflage sometimes. He doesn't rely on heat to find the animal, and he doesn't need the branch to support him to get to the animal. So an eagle is the one thing that can get to a sloth in the top of a tree. So even though the sloth is entirely safe in the top of the tree, yet he comes all the way down the tree, same side of the tree, and poops on the same pile that he always goes on. That was the other reason they used to think they only lived in one tree, is because they always go to the bathroom in the same place. No, they range all over the place, but they always come back to the same pile to go to the bathroom. So scientists sometimes come up with some pretty stupid ideas on the way to some correct ideas, or not. And so the first idea on why a sloth comes all the way down the tree to go to the bathroom is he's a neat animal. Now, obviously that makes no sense whatsoever. He's not the Adrian Monk of the rainforest. He's not going to risk his life just to go to the bathroom neatly. The second idea was that he is fertilizing his own tree via his waste. So again, not a bright genius thing. If he goes to the bathroom from anywhere in the canopy of the tree, it's going to land above the root system of the tree. No net effect. So the actual reason why the sloth comes all the way down the tree, same side of the tree, is the sloth-moth symbiotic relationship. There is a family of moths called sloth moths. They live nowhere on Earth except in the fur and in the waste pile of sloths. The sloth is completely dependent on that relationship. Hello. Great, stay left at the pond, turn right on the first soupy gravel driveway, and we'll see you at the pavilion in between the two barns at 10:30. Left at the pond, right on the first gravel drive, pavilion between the two barns. So the actual reason, the sloth-moth symbiotic relationship. Symbiotic means beneficial to both sides, where parasitic would be beneficial to one, neutral or harmful to the other. You're welcome to be petting this guy and interacting with him. He's not afraid, he's just lazy today. So the benefit to the moth is that the sloth is the food source and the living environment of the moths. Specifically, the moths are feeding on the moss and algae that grows all in the sloth's fur. And this dude is going to have 100 to 150 moths living in his fur all of the time. In the rainforest, not here, thank the Lord. So the moths are then fertilizing that moss and algae via their waste. So there's a whole biosphere living in the sloth's fur. The benefit to the sloth is three main things and a couple that are in the weeds. The main ones though, first, he benefits from the camouflage that the moth fertilizing the moss and algae all in his fur gives him more camouflage. Second, the sloth is, as he grooms himself, he's licking up a certain amount of the moths themselves. The moths themselves are the protein source for the sloth. And third, the sloth is licking up a certain amount of the waste of the moths while he grooms himself. And that is the crucial thing for the sloth. So the sloth digests his food primarily by a bacterial process. Now we also have helpful gut bacteria, but we are not nearly as dependent on it as the sloth is. If the sloth's moth colony fails to thrive, the sloth will starve 30 days later, not for lack of food, but for lack of ability to digest the food. His gut bacteria is primary to his digestive process. So, in the captivity, the sloth does not need the moths. He doesn't need the camouflage because there's nothing here hunting him. He doesn't need the protein because he gets 2 hard-boiled eggs a week that replaces his protein. And he doesn't need the bacteria. For us, we also have helpful gut
Is
bacteria.
that kangaroo? It's not
Yeah.
what we used to get. Looks like bladder food to me. But it was in the kangaroo.
He said the machine started making it differently, but it's
Okay.
the same food.
Okay.
He warned me about that when we
Okay.
bought it last time. It's still Pet Pro. So we also have helpful gut bacteria. Our gut bacteria will last throughout our lives unless we take a lot of antibiotics. If we take a lot of antibiotics, like a long course of antibiotics, we need either probiotics or Greek yogurt. He can't get to GNC, he's never heard of Publix, so he's not getting any Greek yogurt, he's not getting any probiotics. So the source of his replacement gut bacteria is the moths. Now for us, what messes up our gut bacteria is antibiotics. For him, cold temperature is what messes up his gut bacteria. That is why it is always 77 or 78 degrees in this room, is if you never ever let a sloth get cold, his gut bacteria colony will last throughout his life. So the 2 things it takes to keep his gut bacteria right is a proper diet and proper environment. So it's always around 50% relative humidity. It's always 77 or 78 degrees in here, and he only goes outside if it's more than 70. Other things about a sloth. So sloths are crazy strong. The sloth can do a 1-arm pull-up by any of his 4 arms, and then he can hang there for days. So the pulling up, that is a matter of strength. The hanging there for days, that's a matter of nature. So if we were going to do a 2-arm hang from this bar, a minute would be a long time to do a 2-arm hang, because this is our stress or exertion state. This is our relaxed state. The sloth is the opposite. His tendons in his hand and forearm are really, really tight. So bap, snap down tight like that. That is the relaxed state of a sloth. So when he's hanging up there, he's exerting 0 energy at all to hang in that tree. If his life ended while hanging, he would not fall. He is